This is Calculus Lesson 5.5. We're looking today at what's called the trapezoid rule. Now, remember, back in section 5.1, we broke the area under a curve into rectangles, and we had MRAM, LRAM, RRAM. Well, this is a similar idea here, but instead of rectangles, a better way to estimate the area under the curve is using trapezoids. So for instance, let's look first of all a little review on trapezoids. A trapezoid, remember, it's a four-sided figure and we have only two sides parallel. On this one that I drew, the left and right are parallel. Those are called the bases. Okay, so we got the bases are parallel. Now, notice we have a height. A height is perpendicular to the two bases. I drew it there on the bottom. So also the formula for the area of a trapezoid, I have it here, 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take an area under a curve, between the curve and the x-axis, and we're going to break it into trapezoids. So let's go do an example here. Here we go. Here's our example. The example is the curve is y equals x squared. And we're looking from x equals 1, right here, to x equals 2. I want to estimate that area under the curve, between the curve and the x-axis, from x equals 1 to x equals 2. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it into trapezoids. Let's see if I could bring all these over here. There we go. Okay, here it is. I'm going to break it into 4 trapezoids, and there it is. Kind of break it a little bit there. Perfect. Okay. Now, what we have here is, look at the bases. Yes, there's 4 trapezoids. That's what the problem called for. As I have 4 trapezoids, look at the number of bases. Here's going to be, I'm going to call that base 1. This will be base 2. That's the first trapezoid. Then we have for the second trapezoid, base 2 and base 3. That's for the second trapezoid. For the third trapezoid, we have base 3 and base 4. For the last, the fourth trapezoid, we have base 4 and base 5. So for 4 trapezoids, there's going to be 5 bases. Now, let's see what we're going to do. We're going to try and estimate the area under that curve. Here we go. I'm going to have 4 trapezoids. Let's all add those areas. Here's what I did. There's the 4 areas. There's the first trapezoid, the second, the third, and the fourth. Okay, now what's common to each one of those terms? Well, my 1/2 is common and the h is common. In fact, let's look at the h. Notice on this one, the h is the same, and that's the way it's going to be. The h, I'm going to say the height of each trapezoid. You might look at it as the width of each trapezoid. I'm talking right there. There it is. That's the h. And it's the same in each one. In this particular problem, look at how much it is. Remember, we have 1 unit. From 1 to 2, we took 1 unit and we're breaking it into 4 equal height trapezoids. That means each height is 0.25, and that's what you're seeing right here, 0.25 for each one of those heights. So now look back at the equation. What's common to each one? Yes, the 1/2 is common and the h is common. So let's factor that out. Watch what happens when I factor it out. There we go. Now, we have 1/2 and h factored out in front. We add all of those up. Now notice, Oh, there's one base 1 in there, and there's one base 5 in there. But all the other bases, there are 2 of them. So here we go. There's our formula for 4 trapezoids. Might want to write that one down. There's our formula. H over 2 times parenthesis, all of those added up. Notice 1 base 1, 1 base 5, and then 2 of all the others. Now, let's go figure out how much those base 1, base 2, base 3, base 4, and base 5 are. We already figured out the H, it's 0.25. Let's go figure out the bases. Now, take a look. The bases are the y values. So yeah, we're just gonna, here we go. Our equation is y equals x squared. We're just gonna make a table. Here it is, x and y. Hey, my x's, look at my x values. The first one is 1. The next one is 1.25. The next one is 1.75. The next one is, 1.50. There we go. 1.50, then the next one, 1.75, then the last one. We do have a last one. That's going to be base 5. That's at 2. Notice there's going to be 5 x values on this. Even though there were 4 trapezoids, there's going to be 5 x values. Let's do that in our calculator. X squared, I'm going to start my table at 1. I'm going to change the table by 0.25. Let's go do that. Okay. Here we go, get that ready, clear it out, equation, clear it out. Okay, equation is x squared. Let's go to our table set. I wanted to start at 1, and I wanted the table to change by 0.25. There we go. Let's go look at the table. Okay, look at it. There's our values. From 1 to 2 are the x's. I want the y's. 1 and 1.56. Okay, those are the first 2. 1 and 1.56. Let's look at the next 2. 225 and 306. 225, 306, and I know the last one, 2 squared is just 4. There they are. Those are the y values. Those are the bases. Here's base 1. Here's base 2. Here's base 3. Here's base 4, and there's base 5. Let's go plug those into our equation down below. Okay, 1 and 1.56. Here we go, let's do it. The total. This is trapezoid, T for trapezoid. The H, we already figured that out, 0.25. Divided by 2. Big bracket, okay, base 1, 1. Times 2 times base 2, that's 1.56. Plus, let's go look at base 3 and base 4. 3 and 4, 225 and 306. 2 times 225 plus 2 times 306. And the last one, there's only one base 5, and that was 4. There we go. There's our formula. That's going to be the total of all 4 of those trapezoids, okay? Let's do that on our calc, see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Clear that. Okay, we've got parenthesis 0.25 divided by 2, good. Parenthesis, we got 1 plus 2 times 1.56 plus 2 times 2.25 plus 2 times 3.06 plus 4. Total, 234. 2.34. We'll say that's our estimate of all 4 of those trapezoids. Now that was breaking that area into 4 trapezoids, okay? Now we could do that. We could do that also. We could break it into 5. We could break it into 6. Well, I have the formulas for those right here. Here we go. First of all, the one we just did, 4 trapezoids. You might want to pause this now and then so you could write it down. Now, look at again, 4 trapezoids, 5 bases. Look at this next one. For 5 trapezoids, notice there's 6 bases. You have one of the first bases, one of the last bases, but 2 times all the other ones in between. 4 trapezoids, 5 trapezoids in green. Here comes 6 trapezoid. Formula for 6 trapezoids. Right there. Again, there's 7 bases. Okay? Now, let's go finish this little lesson up by using one of these formulas on this last problem. Just 3 slides today. Here we go. This one here. It says, estimate the area between the curve and the x-axis. The curve is y equals the square root of x from 0 to 5. And we're going to use 5 trapezoids. So here's what I've got. There it is. From 0 to 5. We start here. We finish here. So think about that. That's 5 units. We're breaking it into 5 trapezoids. So yeah, 1 each height. Each height. There's a height right there. Height equals 1. Same thing there. Height equals 1. The height will always be the same. Okay? I know you're calling it the width, but in our little formula, I call it the height of each trapezoid. Now, where are the bases? Well, the first base. You go, wait, that doesn't look like a trapezoid. I'm going to call it a trapezoid. I know it looks like a triangle. I'm going to call it a trapezoid with one of the bases equal to 0. That's the first base. On this one, yeah, the first base is 0. Here's the second base. Here's the third, the fourth base, the fifth base, and the sixth base. Remember, for 5 trapezoids, you're going to have 6 bases. Okay? Okay, here we go. I'll tell you what, let's get those bases right now. Let's get how big each one of them is. Here it is, the function y equals root x. We start at 0, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There it is. There's going to be 6. There's 6 of those. Let's plug it into the calculator right now. Okay? Square root of x. My equation, clear that one out. It's the square root of x. Great. Let's go table set. I wanted to start this one at 0. I wanted to change the table by 1. Let's go look at the table. There they are. I want the top 6. 0, 1, 1.41. Okay? 0, 1, 1.41. Okay? Let's go look at the last 3. Okay, we got 1.73, 2, 1.73, 2, and the last one, the square root of 5, is, boom, there it is, 223. Okay? 2.23. Remember, the bases, the length of the bases are the y values. And look at the first one. Yeah, that makes sense. The first base is 0 on that one. Those are the 6 bases. Here they are. Base 1, base 2, base 3, base 4, base 5, base 6. Okay, let's go plug them in and finish it up. Here we go. There's our formula for 5. Okay. Here we go. T5, that means trapezoid, 5 bases. The height is 1 in this case, divided by 2, bracket, the base 1, 0, plus 2 times the base 2, plus 2 times the base 3, plus 2 times the base 4, plus 2 times the base 5, plus 1 times the base 6. Okay, let's do that in our calc, get an answer, and wrap it up. Here it is, trapezoid rule with 5 bases. Here we go. It's parenthesis 1 divided by 2, close it up. Parenthesis, we got 0 plus 2 times 1 plus 2 times 1.41. Good. Plus 2 times 1.73 plus 2 times 2 plus 2.23. Answer, boom, I got 725. Okay, that's the area under that curve. Okay, that's going to wrap up lesson 5.5. Have a good one.